The name Fred Rogers is synonymous with public media, with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood playing a huge role in the lives of young people. But Fred Rogers Productions is responsible for a growing list of educational shows and learning opportunities. I got to sit down with the company's president, Paul Siefken, to learn more. Well, hello, everyone. I am here with Man of the Hour, President and CEO of Fred Rogers Production, none other than Mr. Paul Siefken.
Thank you for having me on, Dorothea. So I've been in public media now for a little over 20 years, but have been in children's television for almost 30. And I started my career as a public high school English teacher and moved from there. I was in Atlanta and found my way to the Cartoon Network. Because I was interested in pursuing some creative endeavors, and was there for 8 years and did a lot of different jobs there, but was there at an exciting time. We launched a lot of brand new programs, the first original programs for Cartoon Network. But after about 8 years, I had the opportunity to go to PBS and was there for 9 years, and worked on programs with producers, everything from Curious George to Sid the Science Kid and The Cat in the Hat and Wild Kratts, and eventually worked on Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood with the Fred Rogers Company at the time. And after that show premiered, the company reached out to me and asked if I'd like to come run production for them.
I understand that you've produced a number of great works during your tenure at Fred Rogers Productions. Talk to us about that.
Well, thank you. We are really proud of the work that we've done. Since 2012, when Daniel Tiger premiered, we've had 6 series, all on PBS. And this is from an organization that prior to Daniel Tiger had only made one show under the vision of one man. They had made Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood since 1968.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
So it really did take a lot of sort of interesting thinking to see how are we going to move forward in the 21st century. And I think what guides us is that today it's important to make different programs in different formats for different age groups and different children, because children are different. We have a very diverse country, and we want to make sure that children are able to see themselves in the work that we do. So Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood has been incredibly well embraced, and it's now 10 years old. It's like 12 years old. So there are kids that are going to be graduating from high school for whom Daniel Tiger was formative in their young lives. We were lucky enough then to produce Peg Plus Cat, which is still the only preschool math series on PBS.
Wow.
And we love that show. It's an Emmy-winning show, and almost like a musical theater show about math. And we're very proud of that. Odd Squad, an elementary school show for math, is live action. And it's a comedy that's about, a secret agency of kids that solve odd problems, and the way they solve odd problems is using math.
So what do you think Fred Rogers means to public television and the work that you're doing today?
Fred Rogers, I think, is sometimes not given the credit he deserves for being a real pioneer.
Yes.
And being an incredible talent. He was fascinated by the power of television when he first started, to reach directly into people's homes and to move them and to inform them. And when it came to children's television, he felt like it wasn't being used to its best potential. And so he was really interested in taking the power of television and using it for good, for kids. And he was a talented guy, right? On Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he was the writer, he was the producer, he was the puppeteer, he was the composer, the musician, the star of the show, and he also was an expert in early childhood education.
True Renaissance man.
He was, and so he could have done a lot of things. But he made a choice, and the choice that he made was to make educational children's television for public media, so that it was free and available to everyone. And we talk about that a lot at our organization now. We've made a choice to bring our talent to the benefit of young children, their families, educators, and that we should feel good about that choice, and that we should feel good about our own creative talents and what we can bring to families today.
And you just published your first novel?
I did. It's called Vernon Poche and the Ghosts of New Orleans. And it's a middle grade, what I call a historical fantasy. And, you know, the story is about a 12-year-old boy named Vernon Poche, who is coming back to the city about 2 weeks after Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, wow.
He's coming back with his father. His father is an electrical engineer. He's helping to get the grid back up. But his dad says, look, after this job's done, we're moving to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because you know the damage is too bad. Well, Vernon, being 12 years old, going back home, he's not too happy about this, particularly because he wants to go visit his mom's grave, actually, because his mom has passed away.
Okay.
So it mixes in adventure and fantasy, and also has a lot of history packed in.
I love that. Way to put Louisiana, well, New Orleans, Louisiana, on the map, Paul. I love that. Now, outside of you being from New Orleans, I get that. And I love how you included Atlanta, because I know you did a stint in Atlanta with Cartoon Network, right?
That's right.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit more about the inspiration for this book for you.
I think that, like so many people from Louisiana, in the wake of the storm, there was a lot of talk around the country. And I was living in D.C. at the time. Questioning whether or not money should be spent to bring the city back. And I was just struck by this. I remember sort of shouting at the television, this is a 300-year-old city. What are you talking about?
That's right.
There's so much culture. There's so many people. And you need to honor the generations of people that created this city.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was such a pleasure meeting you. I'm actually honored. And you know what? Great things do come out of the state of Louisiana. Here's Paul, and he's a testament to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothea.